Hey, good morning, everyone. Foregone breakfast this morning because it's Sunday morning. Got a call. Went and recovered Ford Escape. It's pushing 18 volts to charge it. So alternator's been replaced. It is under warranty. We're gonna turn around and they said the dash is wiping out on it. So that could be from the alternator, but just to be on the safe side, we're gonna hook the scanner up to it. I use the Altel MS 808 with TPMS Bluetooth. I believe it all is. So let me get this hooked up. Let's see what we got going on. All right, we're getting a lot of different codes, and I'm wondering, they said they tested it and it's spiking 18 volts, which might be because we do have a battery out of range voltage right there. I'm not sure why it's showing VIN mismatch. We got a communication bus fault, so I can't pull that code. Fault reserved from external node. And then we have a mismatch PCM. Then we'll escape out of here. And we have a PCM fault code, but again, it's saying it's unreadable. ABS, that one I'm not sure. Then we have a restraint control module, one fault. We got an instrument cluster with 3 faults. That one, the customer did say when they started, all of a sudden the dash starts freaking out. And then we have a 4x4 control module. But let's see what the instrument cluster has to tell us. Sorry, trying to do this one hand. Hold on. All right, we're back. Now we got the instrument cluster up. It's thinking. I don't know how well you'll see this, getting a lot of glare from how bright the sun is. Come on, let's think. It's running through the scans. You can see it's testing everything, checking for codes, flickering the speedometer and RPM gauge. On the system I'm using, MP808TS. It is a bidirectional controller. Okay, battery voltage, and a communication bus. So we're not going to worry about them right now, but because everything's coming up, they're all showing this it's all coming back to the battery. Because we have, I mean, just a lot of codes. We got 7 in the generic code, 2 in the 4x4, 3 in the cluster, 1 in the RCM, 5 in the ABS, and 1 PCM. And when you bring it up, the battery voltage is coming up in at least one of the notes under all the codes. So next we're going to start it. I'm going to take a multimeter, see what I'm getting at the battery. And so right now we're just going to be done. I think what I am going to do though is clear all the codes, and then once we get where we're at, we're going to get the alternator pulled out. We'll have that tested. I just don't replace them, but we'll go and have that done. And then with the codes clear, we'll take it on a short test drive, and that's going to come up. What codes come back, then we'll worry about those codes. All right, where we're at, I do have a bad driver in the PCM, but Ford has a really simple way to test the alternator. It's a 3-plug prong. One should be the alternator output voltage, so 12 to 14. The other one should be 0.5, which is a signal from the PCM to the alternator. And then the third prong is the signal it's sending back to the PCM. Then that way you know if it's the PCM or the alternator that's bad. There's only one problem on the Ford Escape. your alternator is down in there. You can't get it to it from the bottom, so you either gotta cut the exhaust and snake it out here, or you take this tire off. You cannot get to the wires. You have to unbolt the alternator, turn it, and then you can get to the wires. So even though they have a really simple test procedure for the alternator, it don't work on the Ford Escape. So since we have to take the alternator out anyway to get at the wires, we're just going to run it in and have it tested. If that tests good, then we know the PCM's bad, because I do have a fault driver. But so we'll see what happens. I'm taking the alternator off through here, taking the tire off, jacking it up, taking the wheel well liner out, taking the stub shaft out, and it's the easiest way to get the alternator. Otherwise, you gotta go down through there. Pain in the ass. So it's actually easier to go through here. So stay tuned, I'll video as we go. Okay, we got the wheel off. Drop that. I still gotta get the strut disconnected, but that alternator is getting a real oil bath. This is going to have to get steam cleaned and see where the oil leak is, because that might be what took the alternator out, because it was just replaced last year, I guess. So I'll notify the customer, and I got to get the alternator tested before I can say the alternator's bad though. But yeah, we definitely getting some really bad oil in here. I mean, it's got 200,000 on it. Don't get me wrong that, it's over 200,000. So, but if we can fix the oil leak after we test the alternator, we'll see. Because if the alternator is bad, I'm thinking maybe all this oil going in it is what might have done it. So, all right, I'm gonna continue dismantling. I gotta take out these two strut bolts. Then I can flip this down and get the CV shaft out and hit that alternator. Once all this is out of the way, hopefully it'll slide through there. It looks awfully tight, but we gotta do what we gotta do. All right, I got the caliper hanging by a bungee. Strut bolts out, the drive shafts, and that there's two studs right here. This cover, or this goes on there along with this cover. You gotta take them two nuts off, the studs will stay, and then you have to take off your heat shield for your alternator. Once then you just push that out of the way, and this will pull right out. As soon as you pull your shaft out, you can lay your heat shield there. The tensioner seized. So yeah, but now we just gotta undo the alternator bolts. Well, we gotta get the damn belt off, but tensioner's froze. Then the alternator will drop here, and we'll be able to turn it around, get at the wires, disconnect them, and then it'll just work its way out right here. Then we'll go and get it tested, and that's where we're at. There's just so much oil, I can't tell where the leak's coming from. Might be from the valve cover gaskets coming down, because there's the front seal. It really don't look like it's leaking there, but it's definitely coming down on the side. So it's gonna have to be pressure washed, cleaned up, and go from there. So, but that's where we're at. So now I'm gonna get the 4 alternator bolts. I gotta get that belt undone. I'm probably just gonna have to take it off here and let it pop, and probably put a tensioner, because that thing just won't move at all. So it's got a newer belt on it. That's what kind of amazes me. If the tensioner was going bad, why didn't somebody change it? But neither here nor there. We'll get it done. All right, this took forever trying to get somebody to put the wrong bolts in one spot. Now, sorry, battery died. If you do this just right, it comes out right there. there you go. Now we can go get this tested and see what the hell's going on and that. But all right, there's the alternator out, I suppose, if you guys could see. But yeah, just right through there is, I don't know how well that's going to show, but that's going to be a bugger trying to go out through the top. So if you just undo this, you can get your alternator out right there. All right, this is probably going to be the end of this video, and I'll probably do a second video for the install. So y'all, good night. I gotta run, get this tested, and then I'm done for the night. Have a good one. All right, now we're gonna do the install. We tested the alternator, it failed drastically. So there's the hole we have. Here's a one plug, and here's the wire that screws on here, plug goes there. So now you just have to make sure you have this clock kind of how it goes in. It's going to go in like this, bolt to the motor, not in. So we're going to turn it like this. Sorry, don't have a tripod and it'll be in my way. And it will fit. People will say, oh, you can't do it, can't do it. And it will fit. I need two hands though. Put you there. Don't know if you'll see much. I ain't got my tripod out here, sorry. Okay, so we're in there. We're gonna leave it right there. We're gonna get our wires on it. Then we'll lift it up and turn it and bolt it to the block. So that's where we're at now. So we'll be right back. All right, we got the top wire on for the battery. I put one bolt in. Now you can reach in here. Here's your plug. There we go. Now that's plugged in. So now we'll just put the other two bolts in, and then we'll put start putting the heat shields in. They're only plastic. The top heat shield I already got shoved up there, so it's out of my way to get the alternator in, because you put these on after you get all three of your bolts in. So I'm going to put all three bolts in, and then I'll put the CV shaft back in. Then we're going to start it and make sure before we go and put the hub or the strut and knuckle back on and all that. I got to get the belt on, and but it's super easy. Oh, I shouldn't say super. It's time. It isn't difficult, but it's time consuming. One thing that'll really help you a lot. These are the bolts for the heat shield. One goes right here. You can't get a socket in there, so you got to use a wrench. So if you have a number 8 wrench, these are 8 bolt heads. If you have a number 8mm ratchet wrench, it works great in there. That's what I used. If you go with an 8, you can see how long the bolt is. You're gonna be there for a long time because you can only move this much. So if you have a ratcheting wrench, an 8mm, it's ideal for this job. So, all right, that's where we're at. I'm gonna finish bolting that down, get the belt on it, and get the CV shaft in so we can start it up. All right, alternator's all back in there. We just gotta get the belt on and then put in the CV shaft. The splash shields are back in it. I gotta try and figure out where this oil leak's coming from, but that's pretty much what toasted the last alternator. But neither here nor there. That's something else we're gonna have to figure out. Right now I just gotta get the belt on and get the CV shaft in. All right, got the half shaft in. I still gotta put the brake back on it, drop this, put the half shaft in. I just gotta tighten the nut and torque it. I gotta finish putting the splash shield up, and then I have them 2 little screws here go up here and hold these lines all in place. So she's getting there. Then we'll be ready. I just figure I'm gonna get it together and we'll start her and go from there. So, but this is where we're looking like. So, all right, it's all buttoned up, tires back on. I haven't set it down yet because they're having me change the oil. So I'm gonna go I gotta go run trash. So I'm gonna go get oil and a filter, and then she'll be going back to the customer. She's all done. So I do have the battery out of it and over on the charger, and because it was low from this. So, but other than that, she's done. I don't know if I'm gonna be doing valve covers on it or not yet. That's gonna be a wait and see, because they're on a budget and I've already done a lot to it. So I said wait and see, and we'll talk to y'all later.